tonight on CTV News at 6. As forestry companies shed jobs in the north.
We were talking about building houses a year ago, and here we are talking about building houses a year later.
The province says it's taking action to protect workers and businesses hit hard by flooding.
This year, we did actually evacuate quite a few people that did want to come out.
People in Goulet River, north of Sault Ste. Marie, are dealing with rising water. And they are doing their part.
A relative of mine get hit at a young age of 5. She was brain damaged, unable to walk and talk.
4 police officers in the Northeast are recognized for taking impaired drivers off the road.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us on this Tuesday. The province launched its roadmap to protecting Ontario's forest sector today. Officials say the sector is struggling due to American tariffs. And as CTV's Lydia Chubak tells us, Northern leaders are calling for action.
The province says its roadmap to protecting Ontario's forest sector focuses on defending workers, communities and businesses by working with the federal government to reduce the impact of American tariffs and duties.
Last year, we put on almost 10,000 kilometers across the province, engaging with the sector communities and Indigenous partners about what they saw we needed to be doing and how we needed to be adapting to what the realities of today are.
Holland says more details about the plan will be released in the next few weeks. The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities says action is needed as soon as possible.
We were talking about building houses a year ago, and here we are talking about building houses a year later. And you know, we had problems in the forest industry for the last 10 years. Now it's time to act, and I think it's important to be bold. It's sometimes communicating what needs to be communicated, and not everybody's going to be happy.
The province says it's already invested $350 million into the sector since 2020. But Ontario's NDP Shadow Minister for Natural Resources and Forestry says now would be a good time to create certainty for fibre markets with tools like power purchase agreements.
We have a lot of fibre available with biomass and the chips that we produce. It would stabilize it. If we could get that, it would stabilize sawmills. It would stabilize other industry that are so dependent on getting rid of their chips. Yet this government is not willing to give them power purchase agreement. It is sad.
The province says 1 in 4 communities in Northern Ontario rely on the forest sector and adds this roadmap was developed keeping them in mind, but says the plan is for the entire province. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Now to the weather, and it was a soggy start to the day, but the sun came out a little, and I understand more precipitation is on the way. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman to tell us more. Rick.
Tony, it could either be flurries or it could be some light rain, and again, we will get the odd sunny breaker too, and cooler temperatures. Systems map courtesy of Environment Canada. All that rain is leaving the northeast, also some snow as a result of last night in some areas, but again, not too bad in terms of what we can expect, but the uncertainty remains in terms of sleet. 50% chance of rain, 50% chance of snow, so the percentages vary, 30, 40, 50, 60, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Some current temperatures, not as nice as last night, Tony, they're coming up.
Thanks, Rick. Today's rain isn't great news for those dealing with imminent flooding. Communities like French River continue to monitor conditions. We get more now from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
It's going to dry up, but
if not for the water flooding his business, Claude Lacasse would have been busy getting ready to open for the summer. That's now delayed.
You worry about the wood, the structure of the wood and all that. That's all buckling, and the shop is a cement floor, so that's going to wash out underneath.
Owned by the Lacasse family for the past 67 years, the French River Supply Post and Marina currently sits under a foot of water. It's hard to tell where the parking lot ends and the river begins. This isn't the first time the business has been flooded. Our cameras were here in 2019 when similar flooding made its way inside the structure. But despite the challenges, Claude has been running the business since the 90s when he took it over from his parents.
They never got flooded, and then we got flooded 3 times in the past 8 years. So there's a problem. Hopefully somebody's solved. We can blame Mother Nature, but I'm pretty sure there's a problem further up somewhere.
He's referring to water being released from dams upstream in the watershed.
It's a challenge in working together with all of our partners in the watershed system to try to equalize the burden on everybody in the flood levels.
After 2 weeks under the state of emergency, the municipality of French River reports conditions to be stable. The impact from today's rain won't be known for a few days. But there's another added concern: recreational boaters out on the water.
Last weekend, we had boaters on the river who were making lots of wakes, and one of those big wakes tore down a wall of sandbags for a property, which meant that property got flooded.
Along with the warning to boaters to drive respectfully on high waters, the community is also reminding motorists there are still a number of roads that are closed and impassable due to flooding. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Albin.
And a flood warning has now been issued along the Ottawa River near Mattawa. The MNR saying today the river between Lake Timiskaming and the east boundary of Papineau-Cameron Township is expected to rise, affecting Mattawa and Lake Nipissing. Water levels in Mattawa are expected to reach the start of damage level in the next few days. Lake Nipissing is not expected to exceed non-damage levels, but the warning remains in effect for areas along the shoreline, including Callander and North Bay. The town of Mattawa has been constructing a solid rock berm along Matawan Street in hopes of keeping the water at bay. Phase 1 is expected to be complete by today. Should the river rise, the berm will be elevated. The Minister of Natural Resources says a flood warning remains in effect for the far north. The warning is going to last until tomorrow. The MNR is advising residents in both Moosonee and Moose Factory to keep a close eye on the river. The Moose River is seeing ice jams flowing down from the Matagami River. The ice is still fairly solid on several northern rivers and tributaries, including the Kanagami River, with rain between 5 and 15 millimeters today and another 5 to 15 millimeters tomorrow, and strong winds. Conditions aren't favorable. North of Sault Ste. Marie, where the hope in Goulet River is that the worst of this spring's flooding is behind the community. Officials say water levels haven't been this high in decades. High water levels and road washouts, the result of record snowfall seen this winter, are creating havoc. Right now, there are just a handful of roads submerged under river water, including this one near Kirby's Corner. At the end of last week, the Goulet Fire Department requested assistance from the Sault's Emergency Services Unit. 7 boats were patrolling to ask residents if they needed to be evacuated.
Most years, we always do the door-to-door when we have roads underwater to see if people want to be evacuated. Most of the time, nobody wants to come. This year, we did actually evacuate quite a few people that did want to come out. So there was a lot of homes affected. As recent as yesterday, I still seen basements being pumped out.
Adding to the stress on the local fire department this spring, in April it responded to 53 emergency calls, besting the all-time high of 28. National Day of Mourning still to come on CTV News at 6. We take you to an event in Sudbury. Right now, though, we're heading to downtown Timmins. This live webcam is courtesy of the city of Timmins. It's 8 Celsius. We will be back in just a few minutes.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Today is the National Day of Mourning, a day to honor workers killed, injured, or suffered illness from their work. This year in Sudbury, the main theme is psychological health and safety in the workplace. CTV's Alan Everson reports.
Because I know what it's like to sit in that place.
Third-generation miner Mickey O'Brien shares his story of recovering from 10 years of substance abuse, alcoholism, and drug addiction. He is now 6 years sober and was a guest speaker at the Day of Mourning.
We need more resources for people. People are waiting over 4 months, sometimes over a year, to see a psychiatrist. There's not enough treatment centers. When someone finally does make the commitment to get into treatment, sometimes they're not in there for 6 months to a year. I'm sure a lot of people pass away during that time.
Unions are highlighting psychosocial health and safety as a critical workplace issue.
We represent paramedics, we represent nursing professions, we represent educational assistants. All of these professions highly subjected to workplace violence, highly subjected to trauma, highly subjected to the kinds of disabilities that put them off for years.
How do we make our workplaces safer so that we are not seeing those injuries, those mental health injuries happening? And it's happening in every sector. It's happening in private, it's happening in public, it's happening in the trades, and it's an issue that's becoming epidemic in nature.
O'Brien is a union rep and wants people to mean it when they ask someone if they are okay.
Say if someone's acting out of character or something like that, you never know what someone has going on at home. And I've seen people spiral out of control at work when we could have helped them to the point where they were fired. Seen guys end up homeless, lose their houses, lose their wives, fall into drug addiction and alcoholism. You know, some ended up in jail, some of them passed away.
O'Brien says when it comes to psychological health and safety in the workplace, we need to do better. We can do better, and it starts with a collective commitment. Elena Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Ontario provincial police officer who died yesterday in a collision on the 401 has been identified. 33-year-old Sergeant Brandon Malcolm had been with the OPP for just 6 years. He was a member of the service's Golden Helmets, a precision motorcycle team. Malcolm was killed in a single vehicle collision on Highway 401 in Cobourg, east of Toronto, while on duty. The OPP and the coroner's office are investigating the cause of the crash. Provincial police in Kirkland Lake are investigating a high-value theft. Police say this utility vehicle and trailer were stolen Sunday evening from Highway 66 near Morrison Lake in Matachewan Township. For a full description of the stolen items, visit our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Sudbury MP Vivian Lapointe has sent a letter to Doug Ford calling on the provincial government to complete the four-laning of Highway 69 as soon as possible. CTV's Lindsay Alick has more.
MP Lapointe says she recently asked for briefings from the Federal Ministry of Infrastructure and Transportation, wanting to know specifically about timelines.
As it currently stands, the construction to complete Highway 69 is not scheduled to start until 2029. And it wouldn't end until 2037.
She says that's almost 40 years since the provincial government first announced they would four-lane the highway.
In 2019, the federal government committed $169 million to complete the four-laning of the highway. And that $169 million in the infrastructure fund that it was, requires a 50% equal funding amount from the province. And the province has not yet committed their 50%.
CTV reached out to the Premier's office, but was directed to officials with the MTO, who provided a statement which says, in part, the remaining 68 kilometers are moving through engineering approvals and consultation right now, as we continue to work through the many complexities of this upgrade, adding they remain actively engaged with local First Nations and others to get this work done as quickly as possible.
My understanding is that there are some chiefs that are very eager and keen to complete those talks. They too are very committed and understand the need to keep that highway safe. And so it's just a matter of getting those negotiations done.
The letter says the four-laning of Highway 69 has been studied, planned, and deferred for too long, adding that the provincial government's delays have caused immeasurable harm to people. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Planning for your child's future is getting harder. Rising costs are limiting the funds families can set aside for their children's post-secondary education, leaving many parents relying on their parents to help with financing. CTV's Heather Wright crunches the numbers.
Isabel. With 3 kids in university at the same time, Brad Nussbaum knows just how expensive post-secondary tuition can be.
It was sort of like childcare, right? Having 3 kids in childcare at the same time, it's expensive. School's expensive.
Brad and his wife made a deal with their kids. They'd pay for tuition, the kids pay for living expenses. Registered education savings plans help cover most, and they got creative to take care of the rest.
There's a lot of scholarship that don't go claim. So we had the kids apply for every scholarship that we could find.
But as post-secondary tuition rises, more families say they might not be able to fully pay for their child's post-secondary education. According to a survey from Embark and Angus Reid, just 33% of parents say they can cover their kids' tuition. 27% say they won't be able to, while 26% expect it will be financially difficult.
Despite the large number of new parents today are financially planning and budgeting for the future of their children, there's not a lot of confidence that they can afford it.
In its early parent readiness report, Embark, an education savings and planning company, says there is significant concern among new and expectant parents when it comes to the cost of raising children. More than half say they are only somewhat financially prepared, while more than 1 in 3 say they've received financial help from family members. The advice from both financial planners and parents like Brad is to plan early to have as much time to save as possible.
We did a lot of things for our kids to get them to where they are.
With tuition, rent, and other living expenses, post-secondary education in Canada can exceed $30,000 a year, a number that keeps rising. Heather Wright, CTV News, Burlington, Ontario.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Tony, how many times do I have to say this? The conditions change from one night to the next, and they are extreme in this case for this evening. It's a lot cooler than last night. Here is a system that is leaving Northeastern Ontario for today after a rain-filled day. Now we've got some of the current numbers. Not as pretty as last night. We've got some cloud cover. Moosonee at 9, Cochrane 7 with the clouds. Timmins also cloudy at 8, Kapuskasing 5 degrees with cloudy skies. Chapleau, some light rain at 2 degrees. Wawa 3 with the clouds. Sault Ste. Marie 6, cloudy skies there. Meanwhile, in Parry Sound 9 degrees, some cloud. North Bay, not sure if it's still raining. It was last time I checked at 10. Temiskaming Shores 13. Kirkland Lake 10. Again, cloudy weather. Some more cloud than sun in Greater Sudbury at 11. Espanola, mainly cloudy at 10. Cloudy skies. Elliott Lake at 8. And Gore Bay 8 degrees. With the clouds, we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast and feature our pick of the day, all coming up, Tony, just minutes away.
Thanks, Rick. He's promising good news. Next on CTV News at 6, federal government delivers an economic update for the country. And King Charles is looking to repair strained British-U.S. ties. The United Arab Emirates says it will pull out of the oil exporting group OPEC and the wider OPEC Plus effective May 1st. The move by the world's 8th largest oil producer had been rumored recently as the UAE pushed back against production restrictions and had frosty relations with neighboring Saudi Arabia. In a statement, the UAE said the decision reflects its long-term strategic and economic vision and its evolving energy profile. OPEC has seen its power wane in recent years as the United States increased its crude oil production. The suspect accused in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting has now been charged with 3 federal offenses, including attempting to assassinate the president, a charge that carries a potential life sentence. 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen made his first court appearance on Monday in federal court in Washington. In addition to being charged with attempting to assassinate President Trump, Allen was also charged with transporting a firearm across state lines, an unlawful discharge of a firearm during violence. Allen did not respond to the allegations during his brief appearance. Today, King Charles became only the second British monarch to address the U.S. Congress as he continues an official visit meant to mark the 250th anniversary of the United States' independence from Britain. The visit by the King and Queen Camilla comes as relations between the two countries are tense. Trump, who hosted the royal family at the White House for tea on Monday, has frequently criticized the United Kingdom and Prime Minister Keir Starmer for not joining the U.S. and Israel in their war with Iran. Security is extremely tight during the King's 4-day visit, taking place in the wake of the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government unveiled its spring economic statement today. While signaling a decreased deficit ahead of the update, the numbers tell a different story. CTV's Mike LeCouture reports.
It's more than just an economic update, proposing $37.5 billion in new measures over 5 years. A part of that includes a new skills training program. The government hopes to recruit, train, and hire between 80 and 100,000 skilled tradespeople by 2031. The cost of the program is $5.9 billion.
I think what we realized is that we needed to do more. There's no doubt about that. We've seen, there's a number of programs existing, a number of government institutions that have been having different programs to help people in the trades, but we've not seen a comprehensive approach.
While the deficit was $11 billion lower this year compared to last fall's projection, the long-term outlook is largely unchanged, with no path to balance for the next 5 years. And the deficit will remain over $50 billion into the 2030-31 fiscal year.
Any kind of a savings that they get out of the revenues and the spending cuts over the next 5 years, they have decided to spend those. And some of those measures that you mentioned on the pocketbook measure, like the GST credit and those kind of things, these are how they're paying for those.
Royalties from high oil prices are contributing to government revenues, but Canada is facing fiscal headwinds from the ongoing trade war with its largest trading partner.
There's kind of a fog of uncertainty, which is clouding a lot of parts of the world. And Canada, despite all that, has been able to manage to lower the deficit, and at the same time making sure we're there for Canadians.
In addition to yesterday's announcement of the Canada Sovereign Fund, there is other new spending. $755 million over 5 years to support Canada's sports system, including Olympic athletes, and $4.3 billion for Indigenous communities. There is one pocketbook measure Canadians could feel. The government is reducing the contribution rate for the Canada Pension Plan. Someone earning $70,000 per year will get to keep $133 more of their take-home pay annually. But there are few other new measures to help Canadians on a daily basis.
I think what it demonstrates is the high fiscal cost to the government of trying to introduce new pocketbook saving measures for Canadians. It is very expensive.
Pressed on that, the finance minister pointed to measures like bolstering the grocery and essentials benefit, as well as suspending the excise tax on gasoline until Labor Day, as ways the government is helping Canadians deal with the affordability crisis. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Here are the numbers, Tony, for the next couple of days. Not the most promising forecast that we've ever talked about during this time slot, but we'll give it a go. Lots of rain today, leaving the Northeast, and we've got, some mixed precipitation in the form of showers or flurries over the course of the next couple of days. Cooling down of temperatures as well, as you are about to notice. But first, overnight, chance of showers, Greater Sudbury, more of the same in Sault Ste. Marie, chance of sleet in Timmins, Timiskaming Shores, chance of showers, and more of the same in North Bay. Meanwhile, Moosonee, rain-snow mix, -1, Caphurst, about 5 centimeters of snow, rain, snow, Wawa, chance of sleet, -1, Gore Bay, chance of showers, and Parry Sound, chance of showers as well. Numbers do not lie, as we like to say in baseball. Sudbury Nickel Belt, cloud cover tomorrow at 6. Chance of sleet for no less than 4 consecutive days. Thursday at 3, Friday at 4, Saturday at 5, Sunday at 7. Shower activity on Monday as it warms up. Your daytime high around 9, still below normal. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, sun and cloud for no less than 3 days, 5, 6, and 4. Great start, but again, we've got that issue with sleet, showers, or flurries Saturday, Sunday, 4 and 6. Not the warmest of weekends. Perking up just a bit on Monday, chance of showers at 30% and a high of 8. Still below normal by about 5 degrees. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries tomorrow at 6. More of the same on Thursday at 1. 0 on Friday, 60% chance of flurries. What's going on? Saturday, Sunday, chance of sleet at 40 and 30%. 30% on Monday, 3, 5, and 6. Where did this come from compared to last weekend? And again, your normal is about 13, so you're 7 degrees in difference. Monday's forecast to, well, the normal for this time of the year. Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, 7 degrees with the cloud tomorrow. Chance of sleet on Thursday. Chance of flurries Friday. Chance of sleet Saturday and Sunday. Your daytime highs Well, 5 and 7, not the best. It remains at 7 for Monday. Chance of showers at 30%. And again, it'll start turning a little warmer by Tuesday. Your normal is actually at 14 for this time of the year. After all, we are heading into May. North Bay, West Nipissing, cloud cover tomorrow at 8. Thursday, chance of sleet 30%. More of the same on Friday at 30%. 40% Saturday, 30% on Sunday. Wow. And your temperatures 3, 4, and 5. 7 degrees with the chance of showers on Monday. Let's have a look at our pick of the day, Carter Brown. Sandra Skippin, this is Gore Bay, Manitoulin Island. Taken just a couple of days ago. The ice still out on the water. It's probably still there because we need some warmer temperatures to get rid of that altogether. Hey, coming up, several officers are honored in North Bay by the local chapter of MAD. CTV's Eric Tashner will have that story coming up in just a couple of minutes after the break. Well, drivers are preparing for road trips, weekend cottage or camp openings, and seasonal commutes these days. Julie Bioun of CAA joins us with tips on saving fuel. Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. The sun is shining, and that's what really matters. Now, the price at the pump...
That's all that matters.
Yes, it's true. The price at the pump is way too high for many of us, even with that 10-cent drop earlier this week, courtesy of the federal government. So what factors impact the price of fuel these days?
Well, you know, that's a great question. There's a lot of things. We tend to think about taxes as being the biggest chunk, and certainly it is significant. But, you know, there are other things. There's weather conditions. There's April 15th is the flip over time to summer gas blends, fuel blends, which have got different components in them, which make them a bit more expensive. And of course, you know, as we know, geopolitical conflict is also having an impact on the price of fuel.
So what are some of the easy changes that drivers can make to save cash at the pumps?
You know, it's stuff that we kind of already know, but we take, you know, we need a little refresher from time to time. Things like, you know, don't idle. Make sure that you are looking for predictable price hikes or drops, like around long weekends, holidays. Make sure your tires are properly inflated, because that will definitely impact your price, your fuel consumption. Watch your speed. Most vehicles really have optimal fuel efficiency between 40 kilometers an hour and 90 kilometers an hour. So if you have a little bit of a heavy foot like I do, you got to make sure that you're paying attention to that. Plan your route, double up on your things that you've got to do, your errands that you're running, and download a fuel price app like Gas Buddy. You can download it. It will tell you what the price of fuel is in your neighborhood, what some, you know, maybe cheaper, couple of cents a liter. And of course, if you're a CAA member, you get 3 cents a liter straight off the top with Shell.
Okay, good news there. I was about to ask you about habits or bad habits, because I'm guilty of that use up fuel faster. Does fast driving actually fall into that category?
It does. Your car is working harder. There's more wind resistance. There's all sorts of things that impact that. And if you are going beyond what, say, the optimal speed is for your vehicle, your consumption, the wear and tear, the amount of oil you're using, all factors into your gas consumption. And that can really, you know, eat up how much you put in the tank. And the other thing, of course, is things like, as we're going into warmer weather, air conditioning. You put your air conditioning on and you're immediately going to see a change in the performance of your vehicle.
Guilty as charged, sorry to say. So we talked about saving 3 cents a liter at the pump. Any additional savings with a CAA membership?
Well, sure. Like while you're there, you can run into the store. You get 10% off rather, snacks and drinks and that sort of thing. And if your car needs a little bit of a bath, coming out of a very salty, cold winter, you get 10% off your car wash as well.
Good news for everyone here in Northeastern Ontario. That's great news. Julie Bioun of CAA, our guest tonight. Thank you so much. We'll talk down the road.
Thanks for that, Rick. Governments around the globe are looking at ways to protect young people from the harms of being online. As CTV's Pauline Chan tells us, a new documentary is taking a deeper dive into the potential harm of scrolling.
A couple of weeks ago, Caden Orth agreed to participate in a documentary tracking how much time he spent on screens daily.
I would say probably about like 7 hours.
Was that a surprise to you when you actually, did the documentary and you found out how much time you spend?
Yeah, it was a surprise. I didn't think I spent that much time.
I didn't find out until after we finished shooting. And then I saw his screen time, which was, above average. And if I want him above average, it should be school, not screen time.
The 5.2 project is named after the 5.2 hours a day tweens and teens spend on smartphones, with 89% of kids exceeding the 2-hour maximum recommended in Canada.
Children really struggling, whether it was violence in the schools, self-esteem, self-image, online predators, and really feel a lot of this happens at the outset with the parents not really understanding what they're giving their child when they put this technology in their hands.
Children's brains are still developing, and psychologist Dana Sinclair says hours of social media creates excess input and fragmentation of attention.
People have this, too much emotional connection to what other people are doing, what other people are thinking. So all this mind clutter gets in the way. All the comparisons out there, and it prevents people from advancing themselves.
The federal Liberals have talked about banning social media for kids under 16. Manitoba has already pledged to do this, and Australia banned social media for under 16s last December. Margot Deneme is a former Crown attorney who started raising awareness about digital dangers, or RAD, a couple of years ago.
There's a multitude of issues that we address, and we do it together in a non-fear-mongering way, but an educational way to empower parents. So that's why I'm thrilled about this film.
Overwhelmingly, the best advice is to put the phone down at certain times, in class, at meals.
While Caden was always into hockey and other activities before the 5.2 project, he and his family are making a more conscious effort now to spend time on other things. The 5.2 project will be released on May 2nd, 5.2 on the calendar, as part of Rogers' Screen Break initiative. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Sudbury's water tower is glowing green this month as a tribute to Organ Donor Awareness Month. The initiative was pioneered by Ashley LaBelle, who became an ambassador for the cause following the loss of her sister Angèle almost 2 years ago. Angèle became the first heart-in-a-box donor in Northeastern Ontario. Now LaBelle and the Irish Heritage Club of Sudbury are looking to raise funds to replace the city's aging Be a Donor signs.
One person could save up to 8 lives, and tissue donation could save up to 75 lives. And it does not come with age. It does not come with, you could have had cancer, you could have been on chemo, you could have been an addict, you could have been all these things. There's so many misconceptions and myths about organ donation. Our youngest organ donor in Canada, I believe, was like 4 days or 4 months old, and our oldest organ donor in Canada was 96 years old.
LaBelle says there is an event Friday, May 8th at 1 p.m. at the Downtown Library where you can learn more about being an organ donor. Mothers Against Drunk Driving is recognizing 4 police officers in the Northeast region. CTV's Eric Tashner has more from North Bay.
Thank you. Constable Sadie Wagner knows all too well of the lasting impact impaired driving has.
I had a relative of mine get hit at a young age of 5. She was brain damage, unable to walk and talk. She just passed away recently. She was 62.
So she's made it her mission to nab as many impaired drivers as she can.
There's so many different options and ways to get home: taxis, Ubers, call a friend. There's no need to get behind the wheel, whether you're under the influence of drug or alcohol.
She actually had 29 impaired drivers for 2025. She had 11 in North Bay.
Wagner and Constable Shaylin Poulan are 2 of 4 police constables to receive awards from Mad Nipissing for their work in getting drunk or high drivers off the road.
I responded to a few motor vehicle collisions where it was an impaired driver, and thankfully no one else was hurt when that happened.
In the last 10 years, provincial police have investigated over 600 600 alcohol-related deaths on highways and roads. In 2024, 53 people were killed in impaired driving crashes, 6 in the Northeast.
Impaired driving takes the lives of so many people within our country and our communities, and I want to do everything I can to keep our communities safe.
MAD has recognized local police officers' dedication to the cause for over 25 years.
They don't get enough recognition for the work that they're doing with all their investigations, their traffic stops, their criminal investigations.
In 2022, Statistics Canada reported 57,000 alcohol-impaired driving incidents, continuing a downward trend from 69,000 in 2015.
You know, our job as officers is just to keep our roads safe and do the best we can in doing that.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
They kept on fighting. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. The Sudbury 5 down 2-0 tie up their series in the Basketball Super League final against the KW Titans.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
Dreams Take Flight is getting ready for takeoff next Tuesday in Toronto, and this year there's a northern connection. The not-for-profit gives trips of a lifetime to children to visit Disneyland and Disney World, and since Northern Ontario falls under the Toronto chapter, children from Sudbury, Wikwemikong, and Chapleau with physical, social, emotional, or mental challenges can just be kids for one day. I'm happy to have CTV's 11:30 anchor Ian Campbell step in tonight to tell us more.
You know, I went as a media volunteer the first year in Calgary, and I had so much fun, and I saw the difference this made in the lives of children, like you say, who've had some sort of physical, social, emotional, or mental challenge for the day, and allowing them to see such massive smiles on their faces and just to be kids for the day in the happiest place on earth. I thought, you know what, the regular volunteers have more fun. So I decided to become a regular volunteer right after that, and I haven't been able to quit since. It does so much great work.
I know a lot of people who've done this. I've yet to take part. What's a typical day like?
Well, it starts very early, and for the Northern kids, I'm so grateful that Northern kids are able to come this year. They're going to start a day early and end a day later because they have to fly down and meet the Toronto kids. But the typical day of flight, they're going to get there about 5:30, 5:45. Well, they're going to get there even sooner, but the flight will push back 5:30, 5:45. They'll get down to the park by the time the park opens, and then they hit it hard in teams at 9. They have lightning lane passes. They skip the line. They go to whatever rides they want. Anything they want is taken care of, food, drink, you name it. And then they are ushered back at the end of an exhausting filled day from fireworks and parades and taken back to the jet that we leave on the tarmac waiting for us. We probably take off somewhere in around 9:30, and they are back in their parents' arms by 12:30, 1 a.m. that morning. It's just a massive 18, 19, in some cases 24-hour packed day.
You're very passionate about this, and we've talked about this many times here at CTV. Why are you so emotional? This means a lot to you. Why is that?
You know, I think I've seen the difference this makes. And I mean, in our line of work, far too often we see and we encounter these children. And that just can't be those normal kids, and seeing the difference it makes in their lives. I've attended fundraisers where Dreams Take Flight has been around since 1989, where I've met adults who've been on this trip, and they come back and say what a difference this made as a child, knowing if we can do that and allow them to be children for the day, the normal children that they are. To me, I mean, I come back on a Disney high the rest of the week. It makes it all worthwhile.
Now, you need help. How can people help? I would think financially.
Absolutely financially. We have such an amazing dedicated team of volunteers. It is 100% volunteer driven. Not one person takes a dime. So all the donations go to making this trip possible. And like I said, we have Northern kids coming this year. So hopefully we can raise enough money. Volunteers do everything from raise money from the jet fuel to just about everything involved in that day, even the ticket cost. It costs on average roughly $2,000 for a child to go. So financially, if anyone wants to volunteer, there's also information on the website on how to volunteer. And there's also the ability to also ask and inquire about how children can go, because as you and I both know, there's children from one end of the Northeast to another that can benefit of that. And I'm so grateful that children from Chapleau, Sudbury, and Wickwemcong can go this year. So if you want more information, it's all on the Dreams Take Flight website.
Have fun.
Thank you, I will.
He's the biggest kid here at CTV Northern Ontario, Ian Campbell. Dreams Take Flight takes off Tuesday from Toronto.
Thanks for that, Rick. The Sudbury Five had their backs against the wall last night. Win and play another day in the Basketball Super League final. Lose and you're done. It was a back-and-forth final quarter against the KW Titans, who were up 2-1 heading into this contest. But Sudbury came on strong in the end. This best-of-5 series will now take a Game 5 as Sudbury wins 100-97. Those on both sides of the court, telling us this is anyone's championship now.
No, ain't no advantage right now. It's all going to come down to what team won it more, who executes better, and who plays the most consistent for 48 minutes.
It is amazing. I love the energy, the dynamics that the young men brought to the court. And the one thing that I really like is that they respected one another and played with integrity. And that says a lot about both teams.
Like we said, we were down 0-2. We could have gave up, and but that's just not our identity. That's not what the Sudbury community is about. We're going to fight to the end, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I don't think I've mentally realized we won yet. I'm still stressed out a little bit about it. Super happy, super proud of the guys, ready to carry that momentum to Game 5.
And speaking of Game 5, it's tomorrow night in Kitchener, where it's winner take all.
Entertainment brought to you by the Cinefest Red Carpet Patron Program.
Protecting themselves from AI, David Daniel tells us who is taking steps to ensure their voice and image are not misused in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Taylor Swift is taking action to protect her voice and image from misuse via artificial intelligence. The music superstar has filed 3 trademark applications to help stop unauthorized AI-generated content. Matthew McConaughey has filed similar trademarks, trying to ensure use of his voice or likeness would require his approval. Fans can put their faith in Prop Store's upcoming $2 million music live auction. The sale features George Michael's iconic jacket from his Faith music video and tour, along with a guitar played by Slash during the Guns N' Roses Not In This Lifetime tour, and a gold microphone presented to Queen and used by Freddie Mercury. More than 400 items are up for bid beginning Thursday at PropStoreAuction.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
$2 million in federal funding is headed to Lakeland EV charging to support 26 new charging stations in central Ontario. This funding will extend the network of charging stations through Muskoka and Parry Sound. The new chargers will be level 3 fast charging ports. Lakeland EV Charging, which is a branch of Bracebridge Generation Limited, said in a release today construction is expected to be completed by the end of 2027. Now with a look at today's business news, here's Morella Fernandez from BNN Bloomberg.
If you were looking for some clarity today on the Sovereign Wealth Fund, you didn't get much in the update. The Canada Strong Fund is meant to support major infrastructure projects in the country. Ottawa is pledging $25 billion to the fund, and the federal government says Canadians will be able to put their own money in, but how isn't yet clear. The finance minister says it will be like buying a bond where the initial capital is protected. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.06. West Texas Intermediate is up over $3 to 99.93. Western Canadian Select is up $1.65 to 75.31. And the TSX lost 233 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $92.49, closing the day at $45.9647 US an ounce. Silver slipped $2.75 to end the day at $73.19. Copper down 14 cents to $5.82. And nickel up a penny, ending the day at $8.57 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Wednesday weather.
But before we get to that, Tony, the Smile Cookie, funniest cookie. award today went to yours truly, so I'll add this to the trophy case. It's not the Stanley Cup, but what the heck, I love it anyways. Thank you, Marion McKenzie. Tomorrow's forecast: Sudbury, some cloud cover and 6, Timmins 6, chance of flurries. Sault Ste. Marie, some sun and cloud, 5 degrees in your forecast. Meanwhile, North Bay 8 degrees with the clouds, Parry Sound 8 with the clouds, Temiskaming Shores 7 degrees with the clouds. So Tony, I don't get a lot of awards, more boos than jeers when it comes to the weather forecast. So it's certainly nice to be appreciated for my artistic intent with the smile cookie. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. What a good sport. And finally, it was a sweet scene at the Sudbury Food Bank today as some familiar faces traded their microphones for piping bags.
3, 2, 1, go.
CTV's Rick Wyman, Ian Campbell, and Amanda Hicks joined City Councillor Deb McIntosh to put their artistic skills to the test. The winners, aside from Rick, are local charities. The money raised from cookie sales in Sudbury this week supports the CTV Lions Children's Christmas Telethon, the HSN Foundation, and the Sudbury Food Bank.
Christmas time we have the Edgar Burton food drive which fills our warehouse, but at this time of the year the warehouse is looking kind of empty. So this kind of influx of money and funds into the Sudbury Food Bank is going to ensure that we can buy even more food and fill our warehouse back up.
And if you want to help or if you just want a snack, Smile Cookies are available until Sunday. And folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night, folks.